Hello everyone, and welcome to the Brickformula review of LEGO Set 4195, Queen Anne's Revenge. It has 1,097 pieces. And before I continue, I feel compelled to tell you guys that if you're buying this for parts, just be aware that 104 of those parts are these dark stone dots. And if that's not enough for you, they give you 5 extra. So if you're buying this for parts, you might want to skip over to the last part of this video where I have pictures of the parts that are included with this set. Otherwise, I feel this set is mostly recommended for collectors and children who want to play with a big boat. For parts, it depends on what you need. Continuing on is for ages from 9 to 16. As if that stopped me. It's from the series Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Brought to you by Disney. This set retails at $119.99. And here's a picture of the ship with a lot of action going on the front. What attracted me to the set was that it's a ship from the Pirates of the Caribbean. How cool is that? That's the only reason you need, really. On the side here, you will see the list of minifigures. More on that later. On the back, you'll see a picture of the ship from the rear corner, along with some of the playability and details, which I will go over coming up. Here we have the minifigures. As you can see, there are 7 of them altogether. First we have Jack Sparrow. I'm sorry, that's Captain Jack Sparrow. Alright, he has really good body art. I especially like the cloth here that extends from the torso to the legs. That's pretty neat. There's the back. And the headpiece and the wig comes off as one piece. Alright. And this is what Johnny Depp looks like when he's bald. Okay, that's his first look. And his second look. Okay, some detail there. Next we have Angelica, who you know is played by Penelope Cruz. So if you're a fan of her and you want her in minifigure form, this is the only set that has her, unless they make another one at a future date. Alright, there's the hat piece with a detailed belt and feather. There's the body art. And the headpiece comes off with her hair, and that looks like her semi-sweet look. On the back we have her smirking, I think. Totally up to you. Next we have Blackbeard, which I must say the detail is really impressive on this one. There's a detail on the hat, right there. And that comes off. And the beard, I must say, I feel is pretty fragile, simply because the first time I tried to take it off, I accidentally bent this part right here, and I saw the plastic change colors. So the best way to take it off is to hold the beard by the front and the back and pull it off the torso like that. And now you can get a better look. Alright. And this is what Blackbeard looks like after a major haircut. And you can see the detail on his body. Very nice. There's the back. My only real complaint about him is that his sword, don't get me wrong, his sword is really cool. It's just that when I got it, his sword was bent. See, no pun intended. And it's made of this rubber. I better stop talking about it before you guys get the wrong idea. Next we have the Quartermaster, which if I ever saw a beer belly on a minifigure, that's what it would look like. Only his has a tattoo on it. And speaking of tattoos, he's got one that's really cool behind his head. And that's really nice. In fact, I think it's pretty awesome actually. Okay, moving on. We have the chef, which I want to note that they do not have a kitchen aboard the ship. So I will have to demote him to Swabby simply because I have 3 cannons and only 2 zombie pirates to man them. So he fits in nicely. Alright, he has detail on the pants. The rest looks pretty normal. Not much detail on the back. Next we have our first zombie pirate, which looks exactly just like one. His face looks pretty serious. And behind his hair, we have some serious dental work to do. Alright. And finally, we have the second zombie pirate. His detail's pretty nice too. He has some dark gray tattoos, which you can barely see. If you want a clearer picture, I will have close-up shots on my website. And I especially like this part where there's a ghost tattoo right there. That's awesome. I must say they did a really good job with the minor characters too. Here we have the accessories. As you can see, we have 5 swords, 2 muskets, and a pistol, so they're really well armed. We have 2 compasses, which look like this. Alright. We have a barrel here with 2 bottles of rum, or what used to be rum inside. I guess they had a party last night. I must have missed that somehow. Here's a table that belongs inside the quarters with a map to nowhere. And we have here a voodoo doll of Captain Jack Sparrow. Somebody must really hate him. Here we have a bucket, which I thought was pretty cute. It comes with 2 handles, so if you lose one, it's alright. If you lose both, it will still pass off as a flower pot, so no trouble there. We have a box here with 6 cannonballs inside, so use them wisely. And finally we have the cannon, which is really neat. You can pull this knob here like that and release, and that's how it works. Would you like a demonstration? Of course you do. You take a cannonball, and you see the pipe inside, you just put that in there, like so. And, oops. That's okay, my wife could get that. Honey! Oh look, she's ignoring me. Okay, I'll get that later then. Let's try shooting at a wall, so this way you can see how powerful it is. Alright. Let's find a nice wall. Oh, that looks like a nice wall. Aim. And fire. Whoa! Now that's fast. So kids, play nicely. Do not shoot at anyone. And don't shoot at your pets. It's not funny and it's not nice. Okay, moving on to the ship. Okay, here we have the ship. This is the front of the ship, and here's what it looks like going up and down. And as you can see, the sails pretty much cover everything that's behind it, except for the front of the ship, so we'll start with that. Alright, here on the front we have the flaming skeleton, which as you can see, he's a permanent resident, so it sucks to be him. This railing here is unique to this set. Okay, you're not going to find that anywhere else. This is the left side of the ship, and it looks like it has 6 cannon portals, but it really doesn't. The ones on the ends are just there for decoration. There's nothing behind it. It's the 4 in the middle that have the portals. Here's what it looks like when it's empty. The cannons are on the other side, so we'll see that later. Now to take a look at it, going up and down. This is really on there, and that's not coming off. There's a platform here. And going up, we'll see the pirate flag, which is a really nice detail. Let's take a closer look. As you can see, it's made of bendable plastic, so this way it looks like it's blowing in the wind. Very nicely done. Good job. Alright. And that sums up the left side of the ship. Let's take a look at the back. Here we have the lantern. Alright. When I first saw it, I was a little bit skeptical because it didn't look like it was on there very well, but I can assure you it's really sturdy. Okay. Let's just take a closer look at it. Alright. That's what it looks like. Looks really nice. Alright. I'll just put down the side here so this way you can take a look at the windows. As you can see, I did not put any stickers on there. Why? So that you can see it without stickers. Genius, isn't it? Here's the rudder. Okay. Okay, it is the right side. And I just want to point out that on the right side is where the designs are on these sails. Okay, on the back side it's red. Let's move on to the playability. Okay, before I begin, I just want to point out that I took off the sails this way we have a better look. And the first feature we're going to look at is the anchor. Why? Because I feel that there is something we should address because the instruction book wasn't very clear. Now, as you may know, the anchor is actually a very simple system. You simply turn this in any direction and it should bring up the anchor. I should also mention it's supposed to stay there, but it doesn't. Uh-oh, I guess the ship's not going anywhere. But don't worry guys, I have a solution. What you should do is pull the anchor, of course, that's how you get out of the bay. Right? Then you hold that thought. Alright, like so. You take your least favorite zombie and you tell him to stand right there. Okay? Like so. Oops. Alright, and then you tell them, don't move, okay? Just wait until we get to our next destination. Alright, so don't let go, or else this ship's not going anywhere. Isn't he nice? That's what you gotta love about zombies. They're very obedient, and they don't talk back to you. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. Zombies are actually very nice people. It's just that nobody understands them. There are other ways, of course. It's all a matter of just wrapping the chain around this part. Okay, now it's really on there. Good. Now let's take a look at the inside. Okay, from here all the way to the quarters, it's pretty empty. It's really just a big playground where everyone gets to chase Captain Jack Sparrow all around. He gets to swing around, do a little, what have you. You even get this string here as an extra part so he can just swing around from somewhere, just attach it, whatever you like. Okay, so now let's talk about this part. Alright, before we begin, I think it's important that we try to make things a little easier on ourselves, and we'll do that by removing this whole section. And you're probably wondering how. Well, first, I'm going to lift this up a little bit, okay, and then you're going to see that it comes pretty loose. So you're just going to put your fingers here right below the tent. You're going to hold on to that because you don't want to take that with you, and just pull a little bit. Alright, and there you go. It comes off pretty easily. And as you can see, it's only attached by this piece right here and these two studs. I'm not sure if that's the intention. It's not in the instruction book, but I figured since it's so easy to take off, why not, right? As you can see inside, there's really nothing to it. You have access to nothing, but it does make a good hiding spot for the rum. So if you don't want your kids to get it, or the other pirates, and you just want to save it for yourself, that's a good place to hide it. It's understandable. I did that, so why not, right? Okay, now we'll take a look at this part. Now I say there's 2 or 3 playable features here. Let's take a look at the most obvious one, which is the steering column. We'll put Blackbeard there. Why? Because it's his ship, and his sword is bigger than mine, so I'm not going to mess with him. And enough talk about that. Let's take him out. Okay, that comes up pretty easily. And now you'll see Angelica's quarters, and that's where she probably does weird things with the voodoo doll. We're not going to get into that. And then on the side here, I consider it a playable feature. It's really up to you in the end. As you may notice, this railing is not attached over here. So I'm wondering if they did that on purpose. And the only reason I could figure out is that if you open this tent, there's actually a nice roomy space here. And as of right now, I still did not watch the movie, but I did read somewhere that Angelica and Jack actually have some kind of history. So why not have them sit here on the balcony, okay, and talk things over, see what went wrong, and look at them. Oh, aren't they cute? Yeah, I think that works. And they're out in the open seas, warm sun, wind in their face. Oh wait, where are we? We're on a zombie ship. Okay, happy feelings gone. So let's just put that back. That goes in like that, and just push it down, and now it's more secure. Okay.